Hello YouTubies and welcome to episode 3 of Game Idea Talk. Last time we talked about Bound to Life, a mixture of Diablo, Dark Souls and Pokemon in a rather not so childish style, yet an equally addictive gameplay idea. From this episode on, I will structure these episodes equally so that there is a certain flow to all these episodes and you get used rather quickly to what it is all about in the episodes. That is, if you are interested in game ideas at all. If you didn't watch the other episodes, you should go and do so soon. Today, as promised at the end of episode 2, we talk about the artist in ourselves. And that is fairly easy to be done, as our game today is called, you can see it on the screen already, House of Arts. The idea behind it is equally simple. In a rather adventure-like game, we arrive in the House of Arts, a building and a society devoted to all arts. As a new discipline, we immediately learn that anything and anyone in this house is focused on mastering one or even multiple arts. From music and instruments over painting, statues to even garden landscaping or architecture. The player may very well learn an approach to all these styles. Genres involved? Well, as for genre, this is a mixture of an adventure game with an art simulation. Yes, I know this genre basically doesn't exist, but Game Idea Talk intends to change that. If you ever played Mad Games Tycoon, you know that games in the 80s basically meant puzzle, logic or arcade. No first-person shooter, RPG or Let's Dance with Michelle Obama. Why not broaden our knowledge and understanding of what exactly games and game genres are? Of course, there is a certain amount of RPG as you need to progress in the various instruments you may learn to play here. More on that later, and the people you speak to may not immediately give you access to their belongings or even training rooms. Not to mention that you should be able to reach a certain amount of respect and approval for your development by the other people living and working in this House of Arts. The game itself is not based on a certain game. I do have to mention though that I had the idea for it relatively close after watching a let's play of Abzu, in which you swim in beautiful seas and underground passages, watching old art and fishes. Also on average, games in which you progress as character without any violence and games in which you solve puzzles and learn things certainly influenced the idea to this game. Most appealing in Abzu was the beauty of the game. Despite all technological advance we have today, even in gaming with all its augmented and virtual reality, we often lack the ability, or at least don't see it very often, to show astonishing landscapes, masterpieces of arts in detail. And even if we do, it often appears in games like Mass Effect 3 with its cinematic-like scenarios, however, that are basically destruction performed as beauty. But what about the peaceful part in us gamers? Should we say humans instead, I wonder? This peaceful part that likes to build things in order to not destroy them. To witness their creation and share the delight of their appearance? Well, of course, no game designer can perform the miracle beauty that would be a child that is born or the smile on the face of a beloved person of ours. But where is this beauty in gaming today? In all fairness, I have to mention that music-wise, and music is a major part of this game, we do have masterpieces in gaming. And we always had. From the genius that was needed to create sounds on the Atari, up to the orchestras playing the soundtrack of A Legend of Zelda, or the chorus in Skyrim, we do have great music in gaming. But producing it? Yes, we do have the SingStar karaoke thingies. But a game about producing music and sounds themselves, not being manager of a band? So rare I cannot think of one right now. As for what is new in this particular game? Well, we copy old adventure tricks like learning, talking, solving. But we also need to learn how to play an instrument. Yes, playing the piano virtually, now this calls for VR and augmented reality or even a keyboard support, mastering a flute or playing a harp in a game, perhaps using these instruments in different rooms in the buildings or outside, changing the environment and therefore the tone and setting of the music you play. Any artist would love such a game. And imagine the music you play could be accompanied by an NPC, or even a human player in a multiplayer mode. Just imagine artists from different continents playing a virtual orchestra suite, streaming it over the internet with the in-game acoustic changing to their liking. But how does it work? Well, fairly simple. Playing via keys or a keyboard, or the aforementioned virtual reality, and learning how to do so can be easily programmed. Well, at least it can be programmed anyway nowadays. As for setting, just take your violin with you into another room, from a hall to a basement or an open garden. The game engine will change the sounds you produce automatically. But this applies to music only. What about the paintings? Well, do you know Bob Ross, the nice man making happy little paintings? If not, go Google for him. Why wouldn't you be painting with a mouse, keyboard, controller or even VR equipment through the air? Perhaps even augmented reality. Let's be honest, it is possible by now and it could be great fun. So painting is as easy as music. What is left? Architecture. No big deal. We have games like Stronghold, Minecraft and the like since decades. Why wouldn't we enjoy building miniatures buildings in a game? Again, virtual reality, augmented reality. You get the idea. Anything I missed? Oh right, I mentioned statues. Well, a piece of wood or stone in the floor of the House of Arts needs to be carved, chiseled or polished maybe. Give it a shape you like. Voxel technology or any other, we can fairly simple assume anything from minigames like the Surgeon Simulator up to extensive 3D shape modeling in such a game. And all in gaming use so that a 5 years old can build something to his skill level, just as a designer could build astonishing statues. We all know that players would redesign the Mona Lisa in paint, Michelangelo's David as statue, the pyramids of Gizeh as architecture sample, and the soundtrack of Für Elise as a song played on the harp. Not to mention all the new pieces of art people could share online and even create themselves. Keep in mind how many people love to create game modes and in-game designs for games. Some of them would probably salivate over such a game. Who should build it? Well, as for who should build it, I tend to have problems saying that. Last episode I mentioned that Bound to Life would be interesting if it was made by Piranha Bytes. But it's not always that easy to determine who should actually make a game that you think up for yourself. However, today and for this House of Arts I have a fairly simple solution. Nintendo. Why? Well, imagine the possibilities of their creativity and not to forget their new console, the Switch. Virtual reality, mobile gaming, augmented reality, masterpiece games in sound and graphic and creativity. You can say whatever you want about Nintendo, but they could make such a game great. And wouldn't that be to our all benefit if the best studios possible make the individually best games? What is open to ask after all this? Well, is there an audience for such a game? Sure there is. Artists themselves, creative people, kids and people that enjoy a peaceful time away from online raids and MMOs and the hectic of their office jobs could indulge into smooth creativity. Can anyone reproduce any piece of art they have in mind with this game? No, clearly no. This is not a draw-by-number system, but a game about intuitive creativity that the player needs to learn and master. Therefore, a certain patience and will is needed. Nobody creates paintings like an impressionist if he or she isn't willing to spend time on technique, practice and creative thoughtfulness. One good thing here, the game could contain libraries. Yes, in-game books that you read about art. Real facts, examples of sounds, paint and anything else, so that you witness what can be done by you. And yes, this game may also lead you to a journey of art you never thought you would enjoy. If you sit in the hall of the house, you may hear people play the piano in the distance. Perhaps you enjoy watching some NPCs building a sculpture of an ancient warrior, or even just a pet. Just walk your character to an amazing English flower garden, or simply enjoy experiencing and exploring a house of arts from its basement to its ceiling, its entrance hall to its garden, and see what could possibly amaze your mind. The take-home message for this episode should be simple. Games about art and creativity are pretty popular, but also a genre that is underused and underestimated. The modern options to use keyboards, controllers, instruments, and even change to augmented or virtual realities, artists and like-minded people may very well enjoy such a game. It could have a storyline or be sandbox. It's adventurous to explore art from an overview of its history or up to details in the making, and it does allow you to bring your fantasy to life. It does not involve shooting, no violence, zombies or survival methods. It is simply all about creativity, beauty and your own will that explores. That is and always has been a major part of having fun with a game. And ultimately that is what video games are all about, making fun. So thanks for watching this episode. As always, leave your likes and subscribes down below, and more importantly, comment on your opinion of this idea, bring your own ideas into the comments, even for new games, and let us all know what you think of this concept. Next time we discuss a game, well, we did mention pyramids today. Enough said, no spoilers. Have fun, see you soon, and keep in mind, there always is a game left to play or to create.